Okay, so welcome to the Confidence Live workshop. I'm super excited to have you here, and I hope you leave this first session feeling so energized and vibrant, taking these next steps. So today and tomorrow, we will be doing the 40 minutes learning and then the 20-minute self-enhancement session. After today's call, you will also receive your second bonus. So you'll receive that in your inbox. Again, please do the homework bits that I ask you to do because they're important for the next session. And hopefully you've all been able to do your listen to the affirmations as well. So here we go. I am just going to share my screen with you and we're going to jump straight into it. So Confidence Live. Now, confidence means something to everyone. And we are going to cover off what it means to you in this session, because what confidence means to me could be completely different to what it means to you. Okay, so I'm just going to put myself on presentation mode and we can see the screen bigger. Okie dokie. So hopefully you've all had a little chance to do what does success mean to you. And what I would like you to do is just to pop a little one-liner into the comment box, just so we can share what that looks like. So your level of success will really exceed your level of personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become. So please share with me, what does success mean to you? I'm going to share with you what it means to me, first of all, because I think, especially as women, we always tend to benchmark ourselves against this imaginary stick, or we benchmark ourselves against what we think other people deem success as. But success to me is living life happily, it's living life with freedom in my mind, and just feeling happy in my mind and body. That is success to me. As I said, it can mean something different to you, so I'm really intrigued to know what that could be. So just pop that in the little comment box. As I said, little one-liner, share that with me, just so we can kind of warm to each other and get to know, what we're working on together. So I'll just give you a little minute to do that. Okay, we got one. Being happy and healthy and enjoying life. Yes, I'm so here for that. And I think a lot of us, when we really ask ourselves what is success, it will come back to that. I know it can be very easy to compare our lives to other people, how many holidays they go on, what they do for a job, where they live, how they live their life. But again, it is a case of, is that our happiness, or are we choosing that happiness because someone else has picked that? Feeling fulfilled and happy. Exactly. So that feeling of fulfillment, we are going to cover off that as the webinar proceeds. So next slide. I'm not very technical, so I might just slide this down. So intention setting. So for us to kind of get confident on what confidence is for us to understand what we need to do to become confident, we need to have an understanding of what our intentions are. Okay, so this is going to be one of your first activities, and again, I would like you to, I invite you to pop what your intentions are in the comment box. So our intentions create our reality. So I ask you, what are you holding proudly as your intentions for this year? How would you feel if you had more time? What would your life look like if you had more time? Okay, so let's cover off the first part first of all. What is your intentions for this year? This could be physically, emotionally, personally, professionally. What are your intentions? And let's cover that first of all. And again, just pop that in the comment box. And as we're in the means of sharing, my intentions for this year, again, is to live life happily. I would love to see more of the world. I would love to spend more of that time with my family and friends. And just really lean into being happy and content with where I am. Of course, always want to self-development, but being really happy and grateful for what I have. So just have a little second to think about that, and then we'll move on to how would you feel if we had more time. This might not be making sense at the minute, but I will be linking it all together. Again, just a little sentence in the box. I love that. Retire from work, travel more, learn golf, and continue to be happy and healthy. That is amazing. I'm celebrating that. It's so good. Okay, so The next question, I want you to think about, what would you do if you had more time? Because in reality, the reason why we don't get stuff done is because A, we're either too busy, we don't have enough time, maybe we spend a lot of time doing stuff for which we don't need to be doing. So think about, if you had more time, what would your life look like? What would you be doing day to day? Again, this could look like professionally, this could look like personally, health, wellness. How would you spend your time if a time was in abundance and you could do what you like with it? I'm just going to play a little bit of music and give you about 90 seconds to cover this off. So just to repeat that, what would your life look like if you had more time? How would you feel? How would you look? What would you do differently each day? This could be spending time taking care of your body, focusing on your mental health, spending more time with loved ones. What does that look like for you? 60 seconds. And when you're ready, I invite you to share that. Okay, just another 15 seconds. When you're ready, just pop something in the comment box. Amazing. So as I said at the start, what I want to get from this, ladies, is for you to really lean into what we're doing here today and surrender to all the possibilities, okay? So what have we got? Learn new skills, see family, more self-care, practice mindfulness more. Absolutely amazing. So these are fundamental things that we could be doing, which would build on our confidence. You know, more mindfulness, being more aware and alert in your mind and calm, that is going to give you confidence. Being surrounded by your family, again, that is going to give you so much love that you are just going to feel so confident. And again, we will be tying all this together, but love that. If there's anyone else that has anything to put in, please do so. Oh, here we go. Be more in the now and appreciate what I have. More time on self, but actually commit to doing so mentally and physically. Love that so much. So we're all quite aligned in what we want, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm celebrating the fact that we want this for ourselves because we are getting ready to step into that next level version. And just a lovely little task to do next, something that I want you to lean into and set your word for 2023. So for me, my word is abundance. I want to live my life in abundance in every area possible. I want abundance in my relationships, in how I show up for my clients, in how I show up for my partner. I want to, as I said, do more travel and exploring. So that is my word for 2023. Now, you can pop something in the comment box, or you can do a little bit of research later and search for some words for 2023. There's so many of them out there. See what feels aligned to you, and I'd love for you to share that with me in the call tomorrow, or you can drop me a little email as well. Awesome. Okay, so let's move on. Confidence then, let's kind of really delve into it. And first of all, I don't want you to forget what those intentions are. You have set your intentions for the year, so let's honor it and stick to it. So again, I'm going to ask you to pop in the comment box when you're ready. What does confidence mean to you? Physically, emotionally? Is it how you act? Is it how you're perceived? Is it how you turn up to work? What does confidence mean? So for me, confidence means living my life on my terms and energetically, with purpose, and showing up for me. That's what confidence means to me. Now, I know a lot of people will think confidence is how you, I don't know, how you look because you've lost a lot of weight. Yes, that is a form of confidence, and you might be able to recognize someone is very confident by the way they hold themselves, by the way they walk into a room. But it is more than that. It can be about, how you live your life. It can be how you show up for yourself. So have a deep think again. I'm going to put just 60 seconds on the clock, and I just want you to think about what comes to your mind. Okay, so what does confidence mean to you? Okay, 45 seconds. Last 10 seconds. If you have anything to add, just pop it in the comment box if you're happy to share. Amazing. Okay, thank you again for sharing that. So we've got being comfortable, happy, content in myself, doing what is right for me and my loved ones, not worrying what others think. These are amazing, and a lot of it just stems about how we feel in ourselves, and more often than not, the way we feel in ourselves will radiate. So if we are feeling sad, we will radiate sadness. If we are feeling anxiety, we will radiate anxiety. So when we feel that way, yes, sometimes it's uncontrollable, sometimes it's very controllable, we're affecting the mood around us. So if we can radiate this confidence in all aspects of our life, we're not only improving our life, we are improving everyone else around us, which is what we're going to jump into next. So moving on, this is where we get into the nitty gritty. Now, I just wanted to think back to what I said at the start of the call. I said, what would your life look like if you had more time? And you mentioned a whole host of things, because if we reverse engineer it, the reason as to why maybe we are not confident, if we reverse engineer it, could be because we don't have enough time to spend on ourselves, because we can't get to the gym, or we can't eat the way we want, we can't visit the family we want to see, we can't apply for that promotion because we're so bogged down in our current job, we just haven't got time to do the application, which leads us back to maybe we're not setting boundaries. Maybe we are tuning up for every single other person in the world, but not ourselves. We are saying yes to everyone else, but we're not saying yes to ourselves. We are not putting staples and practices in place that allows you to have your time to work on you, which then could stem back to maybe you are not aligned with your values, or maybe you're a bit disconnected with your values. And that is what we're going to work on first. Your values set the tone for how you show up, for how confident you are. And it just might be that along the way, along the last few years, when life has just got so busy, we've just forgotten what our values are. So this session, we are going to remind ourselves what our values are and what our boundaries are. Once we have those in place, those are the rock solid fundamentals that are the literal stepping stones for opening up everything else in our life. Because once we nail these and we feel so aligned to them, everything is possible. And that is how I'm going to show you how you can live life more confidently. So what are values? Your values are the things that you believe are important in the way you live, in the way you work. They should determine your priorities. And deep down, they're probably the measures you use to tell if your life is turning out the way you want it to. So the key thing here is they determine your priorities. So if we're a bit disconnected from our values right now, we might not prioritize our health. We might not prioritize, eating nourishingly for our body. We might not prioritize setting time aside to do mindfulness, to improve our mental health, to step outside of our comfort zones, because we're not aligned with our values at this time. So we are going to spend the next 2 minutes thinking about our values. Now, this can be hard, especially when you're put on the spot. So a few examples down here for you. Your values are a set of principles, a set of standards, behaviors that you live by or you hold importantly to you. So these examples could fall into numerous different areas. So you could value your health. Your health is your number one priority, because when you are healthy, you can turn up for yourself, which means you can give to other aspects of your life. And you'll hear me talk about this all the time, but you'll be able to give to your children, give to your grandchildren, give to your work in the right ways, give to your husband, your wives, your partners, and that will allow you to honor that and become more confident in that. It could be you value your family time above anything else. So, you value putting your phone aside, removing technology from the room for an hour so you can spend that quality time with them. You value your time. Now, this is the biggest one for me. I value my time like there's no end. And I really encourage you to do the same, because if you think about it, time is all we have. Time is our life currency. An example of this could be, maybe you've set up a meeting with someone, just say it's on Zoom, for instance, and you both agreed you were going to turn up for this call at 10 a.m. You sit there, they don't show up. 10 minutes goes by, you've not heard from them, they haven't turned up to this call. You've just wasted 10 minutes of your life. And I know that's a very exaggerated way to think about it, but if that were to happen over and over and over again, just in these sort of scenarios, look at all of that time that you are wasting. That's your life currency you are never getting back. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is the only rehearsal we have. This is the only run through of your life that you have. So for me, my time is hugely valued. Okay, and I'll talk about how I put things in place next to ensure that I value my time. Respect is another one of mine. I expect respect because I give respect. And for me, when people not so much disrespect me, but when maybe they don't share the same sort of values of me, I find that quite hard, because, as I said, time is of the essence. If someone gives you a bit of their time, how amazing. They are literally sharing their life with you, and vice versa. So things to help you think about what your values are. Think of meaningful times in your life. What was so special about that moment in your life? How were you feeling? What were you thinking? And you can normally find your values when you think of that moment. Equally, think of a time when you've been dissatisfied in life. Again, there would have been something in that scenario that maybe triggered you or made you feel uncomfortable, and your values would be the opposite of that. Okay, so as I said, I'm just going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to let you write down your values. Now, you can go so much deeper on this after this call, but the first thing that comes to your mind, I just want you to write it down and explain why. Off we go. Really find your connect with what your value is. Okay, just over a minute left. When you're ready, I invite you to pop it in the comment box. Okay, 15 seconds. Okay, thank you. So, as I said, if you have anything else you want to add, just pop it in the comment box. So we have kindness, respect, help each other, respect, only one life, do your best with it. My relationship, I'd be lost without it. Sounds cheesy. No, not cheesy at all. Love it. Respect, kindness, honesty, love. Amazing. So now that you know what your values are, and as I said, go a bit deeper in these after the call, but these are the foundations for you to live life more confidently. So we're going to connect all of these together, okay? So moving on to our boundaries. Now, our values and our boundaries can be linked or they can't be linked. It all depends, of course, what we've set our boundaries at, but I'm just going to connect mine for you. So as I said, one of my values is time. I value my time. I value other people's time. You know, I hate wasting time. I hate being late. I respect it when people, you know, share their time with me or just share their energy with me. So a big boundary of mine is if I have, you know, set myself time for myself to go to the gym, I will honor that no matter what. If someone has set an appointment with me or they've asked to meet me for coffee, etc., I will guard that. My boundaries are, I will make sure I turn up for all of those occasions because time, as I said, is of the essence. This is not a dress rehearsal. So your personal boundaries are the limits and rules in which we set ourselves. A person with healthy boundaries can say no to others when they want to. This is going to be something that we're going to be covering in tomorrow about the whole no. So thinking about your boundaries now and your values, you might be able to connect these up, but I want you to think about what are the rules that you live by. So as I said, for me, if I have made an appointment with myself, that appointment could be anything. It could be meal prep time, it could be going to the gym, it could be mindfulness time. I will honor that. The only, you know, extenuating circumstances in which I won't honor my time with myself is if it's life or death. Okay, now I know that sounds extreme, but if there's not a extreme situation going on, I will always honor my time because that is time for self-enhancement for myself. When you think about if you are happy, like generally really happy, the people around you are going to be happier because happiness is radiating. And if I don't honor my time, I'm probably not going to be the best version of myself. I'm probably, I don't know, going to be a little bit short, a little bit snappy. That's probably going to affect the relationships around me, which is not going to give them a great experience. But the more I honor my time and the more I guard my boundaries and my values, the better person I am, the better person I can be to give to other people. And that is how I say that I am confident, because I live by my set of life rules and I feel they enhance me and make me a better person. So over to you. Boundaries. What boundaries do you have? Now, another example of this could be, again, if you're making an appointment with yourself and someone says to you, oh, can you just do this extra piece of work? And maybe it falls into your boundary time, your value time, the time that you're there spending time with your family. What are you going to say to them? Are we going to say, yes, ma'am, I'm going to do that right away for you? Or do we have those boundaries in place? Again, when we have a disconnect with our boundaries, this is why we don't get stuff done for ourselves. This is why we end up pouring from an empty cup. This is why we may not feel as confidently as what we want to, because we're a yes woman. we're saying yes, yes, yes all the time. There's nothing wrong with helping people out and, you know, being there for people. But when that steps over our boundaries, when that steps over our values, it can leave us feeling empty. It can leave us feeling, you know, why are we doing this? What's the point? You know, you're never going to get around to being happy. You're always doing things for other people. So I'm going to just put 2 minutes on the clock again. Think about what your boundaries are. Do they connect to your values? As I said, they can be separate, they can be entwined. What boundaries do you want to set for yourself? 2 minutes, off we go. And again, I invite you to share that with the group if you'd like to. Okay, 60 seconds. Now, don't worry if this is not something you're currently doing. This could be something that you want to put in place for your boundaries, okay? And over the next hour tomorrow, I'll share with you how you can do this. Yeah, that is absolutely perfect. Completely understand what you mean. Okay, 20 seconds. Okay, I'll stop you there. Again, just invite you to share whatever you want in the chat. So that is exactly what I was hoping to at least see in one of these boundaries. So thank you for sharing that. So I'm just going to share it. I struggle with saying no in work, which affects my rules and my values. I'm better at setting my boundaries outside of my work. But what happens is work then affects my priorities and home mood particularly. Yes, it does make sense. Yeah, completely. And that is the thing. Work is one of those things which, you know, we spend at least 80% of our life doing, and the majority of our day doing. And when we lack those boundaries in work, as you say, it spills into our personal life, which can then affect our time. It can affect our relationships. It can affect how we turn up for ourselves. So I'm so glad that you said that, because we are going to go over all the ways that we can set boundaries for ourselves. I struggle to actually get things done I set for myself. Yeah, feel the same. Cool. Again, we will talk through how we can set those boundaries. Now, when we feel connected, and hopefully now, ladies, now that you've written them, again, really invite you to go deeper on these. We really want to connect with our values and boundaries, because once we get so clear on what those boundaries are for us, on what our values are, that is when we can start showing up for ourselves. And I'm just going to bring it back to my time, my boundaries, my values on time, because when I got razor clear on, if I'm wasting my time, I am wasting time that I could be developing my business, developing my mind, spending time on my happiness, by letting other people take from my cup without me giving them permission. So in the example of work, I was in self-destruct mode I was in the spiral of, I have to give to other people before I can give to myself, but that's not how it should be. You give to yourself before you give to other people. As I keep saying, we have one life. This is not a dress rehearsal. So we get to choose who we show up for. We get to choose how we show up for ourselves. And when we get to decide that, that is when we get to step into that confidence. Because when you say yes, or when you say no, for whatever circumstance it could be, when that comes from a place of your values and your boundaries, that is so powerful. And as you've already said, if your work didn't spill into your home life, you would feel happier. Your relationships would be even better. And that's the thing. When we set those boundaries and those values, every aspect of our life becomes easier. The confidence comes because we have the confidence to say no. We have the confidence to say yes on your terms. So we're just going to move on. As I said, please go deeper on these after this call. We're now going to cover off your vision for your life. And this is going to be the last activity to do this evening with me. And then we're going to go into our Q&A. Tomorrow, then, we are going to go even deeper on what we've covered this evening, and really set in stone what that action plan for you is going to look like and how you're going to become more confident. So really, really fun task that I love to do. I want you to envision your life, okay? 12 months from today, I like to say it's the 31st of December, 2023. And I don't want you to think what you could have achieved or, what you want to achieve. I want you to say exactly what you have achieved. It doesn't matter if you don't know how you're going to get there. It doesn't matter if you have no idea how to take those steps to even think about it. Best case scenario, leave all your limiting beliefs at the door, leave all your negativity at the door. And I want you to think about what your life is going to look like on the 31st of December. That could be professionally, your personal happiness. It could be in your career, whatever that is. So for me, and do this with me, ladies, close your eyes. It's the 31st of December. For me, I have traveled to many countries. My intention is to go to Bali this year, to travel Europe. I want to do more home improvements. In my mind, it's done, it's happened. I have done those home improvements. I have traveled to Bali. I have traveled Europe. I've, branched off into other areas into my business. I've stepped into more corporate-based roles and delivering workshop in the corporate world. What else have I done? I've spent more quality time with my family, with my friends. I've made new connections. I've helped hundreds of more women, and I've done that. That is the 31st of December, and that is what I'm setting in stone. That's going to happen. So I want you to do the exact same thing. You can open your eyes now. I want you to tell me what you've achieved. It doesn't matter the hows, it doesn't matter the whys or how you're going to get there. Don't worry about that. Just tell me what this year has in store for you. Open up your mind to everything that you want to achieve. I'm just going to give you 2 minutes on the clock. Off you go. Your world is your oyster, ladies. And again, if you would like to, you can share that in the chat and we can celebrate and envision that for you. Okay, another 60 seconds. 10 more seconds. And ladies, there's no shame here. Just open up your mind. Anything is possible. This is a safe space. Okay. I wish there was a way to make that music just quieten down before it abruptly stops. Okay, what we got? Playing golf regularly, more travel abroad, at home and garden refurbs, new camper van, commit and follow through with the fitness and nutrition, a lot of new experiences, whatever that may be with my husband. I love that, and I'm celebrating that for you. It is done, it has happened, it is in the universe. We just need to get there now. If anyone else has anything else, what we got? Quality time with family and friends, made a difference to the lives of children and families I teach. I love that. I love that it's all about giving and sharing those experiences. Absolutely beautiful. So now that you've got your vision, again, go a bit deeper on this after this call. Link that back to your boundaries and your values. What is spilling over in other aspects of your life that may currently stop you from achieving your vision? Okay. Now your vision can change at any point. You don't have to just, put this in stone and say that's it. That's all you're going to do. You can add to it, you can take away from it, you can do whatever you want with it. Same with your boundaries and values. They can be whatever you want them to be. But the important thing is that we connect with them in that moment in time. So after this call, I want you to think about how can you achieve your vision based on your values and based on your boundaries, because it is those things that again will help us feel a lot more confident. When we know our vision for our life, we're going to step into that confidence because we feel empowered about what we want to achieve, and we can set the actions and the steps in place to achieve that. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through, what's going to happen next before we go into our self-enhancement session. So in this session, we've kind of laid the foundations of how we become confident, talking through what confidence means to you, what our values are, what our boundaries are, what that vision is for ourselves. So next is part of your homework. And I would like you to just go a bit deeper on these questions. So what do I want from this life? How do I want to feel? How do I want to look? What excites me about the opportunities and possibilities in this life? What does my best life look like? Again, when we get razor clear on these things, we can step into that confidence because we can build that plan to get there. Okay. And then we have a whole host of other stuff to do tomorrow. So I will be sending you over your second bonus this evening, and you will be able to complete that hopefully by tomorrow as well. Don't worry if you haven't, just take some time to read through them, and then I'm going to link everything back to becoming more confident and living life with purpose and how we can achieve our goals tomorrow. So I hope you've enjoyed the first half. So I'm just going to open up the floor now for your first enhancement session. So if you have any questions about absolutely anything, whether that's fitness, values, boundaries, confidence, absolutely anything, just pop it into the comment box and we will get chatting. As I said, my door is completely open, so any questions whatsoever. And I'll just give you a moment to have a little think about those. Whilst you're just having a little think, I'm just going to share a bit more information with you about how I live my life with confidence. Now, some of you may have followed me for a long period of time, some not for so long, but I never was just confident. I had a confident personality, but I was never always confident in myself. And as I always say, the confidence comes through practice. You are never going to, for example, drop weight in 1 week and reach your desired goals. You're never going to feel confident just by doing one affirmation or one enhancement session. These are things that you have to work on continuously to build on your mindset. All of the confidence comes from within and within our mind. So once we have our mind on board, anything is possible. So just like any habit that you want to set and create and solidify into your life, you have to practice it every single day. Now, I'm not saying, if you can't do it every single day, you're not going to get there. You absolutely will, but it's consistency over the long run that gets us to the point of confidence and living life with our values, living life with our boundaries, and reaching those visions that we want to create for ourselves. So just remind yourself, when the work happens continuously, consistently, that is when the results happen. That is when we feel confident in all aspects of our life. Okay, some questions. Oh no, I love this question. So I hope this question is appropriate. Yes, it is. I know in the past you've set yourself to read meaningful books. Would you recommend any in particular? Yes, absolutely. So I'll just pop these in the comment box as well. So the one book I love and I reread it every single year is Atomic Habits. It is the best book for understanding how to create a habit. I believe there's also a podcast as well, and he has a mailing list, which is great. So Atomic Habits basically covers how to make habits easy, how to make habits simple, and how to really embed them into your life. And the story that he tells is so inspirational. It's really hard not to follow through with those habits after you've listened to, his backstory. So Atomic Habits by James Cleary is one of my favorites. I'm just seeing if I got any of my other books, but there, no. The One Thing. The One Thing is basically talking you through to focus on one thing in life to be the best at before you do something else. It makes you think about how if you do one thing right, everything else will happen. The way you do one thing is the way you should do everything. So an example of this is when you wake up in the morning, if you leave your bed messy, you're going to enter the rest of your day messy, just an example. Or if you make your bed first thing in the morning, that's the first thing you do in the morning, that's the first win of the day. You are setting your day up for wins throughout the day. You are setting your day up for that positivity. So James Cleary, Atomic Habits. The One Thing, I can't remember who wrote that, but I will let you know. Another great book that I love is Eat the Frog. Again, another sort of self-development book. Eat the Frog is about how you should prioritize the tasks that you have to do. So, if you've got a to-do list, which is, as long as your arm, and you've got all these things that you need to get done, it helps you prioritize which things that you should get done first. Normally, being the biggest, ugliest thing, you want to eat the frog, which is the hardest thing on the task list, which we normally end up leaving right until the end, and we do all these meaningful little tasks in between, never get around to doing the hard stuff. So the book talks about how you can eat the frog and do the horrible, nasty things first, and then you can crack on with the other stuff. So those are my top 3 books: Eat the Frog, The One Thing, and Atomic Habits. Next question: do you journal every day? I'm going to say yes. However, there are days that I simply forget to journal. That could be the weekend, for instance. So journaling for me, I practice my gratitude, because when you're in a state of gratitude, thankfulness, it's hard to feel any other emotion, which could be sadness, anxiety, or depression, or anger, anything like that. But truly lean into that gratitude. Now, if I don't journal every day, the one thing I do is my gratitude. So gratitude to me is really leaning into what am I thankful for. And the question I always ask myself, if I didn't have that thing in my life, how would my life look? So when I say I'm thankful for my house, I'm thankful for my house because if I didn't have my house, I would be out on the street in this cold weather, in the thunder, in the storms, in the snow, in the rain. If I didn't have my house, I wouldn't have a safe space. I wouldn't have a place where I can go and cry if I wanted to, or share happy memories, and I'd be losing out on all of that. So when I say I'm grateful, I really lean into why am I grateful for that thing? What would my life look like if I didn't have it? The journaling side of things, what I like to do there is journal my thoughts. It's not a case of Dear Diary, it's more of a brain dump of, what is on my mind right now? What do I need to prioritize? Or it could be a case of, how am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? And if I'm feeling sad, what has caused me to feel sad? What has caused me to feel anxious? Why am I feeling anxious? Is there any fact in what I'm feeling? What I mean by that is there a factual reason to my anxiety, or is it a state of an emotional response to something? more often than not, we don't think with the factual side of our brains, we think with the emotional side of our brains. So I will journal through that and ask myself challenging questions to get to a positive place. So when I journal, it's more of a case of journaling away limiting beliefs, negative mindsets, sadness, anxiety, stress, etc. What we got next? I always struggle with consistency. Would you say it's a bit like affirmations? It takes a bit of time. I can be consistent for a week and then say, fuck it, and then regret it and berate myself for giving up. Absolutely. So I love this because this is probably the one thing that we all struggle with the most, consistency. The reason why we're unable to stay consistent is because either A, we don't feel aligned to that task, or we don't see the benefit or the purpose or the true need to do that task. So we don't stay consistent. So let's just think of an example. This could be the journaling. We might not see the benefit in the journaling or how it can help us. So we don't do it. So we're not consistent, or we'll do it for one day and then forget about it. But if we understand why journaling is important for us, or why meditation is important for us, now the benefits are psychological benefits. We obtain more focus. We can, challenge limiting beliefs. We can literally shift the way we think. We can go from feeling, down, anxious, isolated, sad. If you journal through that or understand why journaling will benefit you, you can literally shift that to high vibrancy, high energy, positivity, feeling on top of the world. So when you understand something, it's a lot easier to stick to it. The other thing is maybe you're making it too hard. Are you doing it at a time of day, or whatever the task may be? Are you doing it at a time of day where you're not feeling your best self? Okay. I always work best first thing in the morning and afternoon, evening, like late afternoon, evening. Like right now, for instance, my brain is in overload right now and it's just firing. Early afternoon, say from 12 through to 4, I can't work. I have to work first thing in the morning or late afternoon into the evening. So are you working or doing it at the most optimum time for you? And are you making it easy? So are you just waking up and cracking on with your day, or is your journal next to your coffee mug? Now, reading or listening to Atomic Habits will help you make things easy in terms of your habits. So that will help. And in regards to doing it for a week and then, not continuing with it and berating yourself, if you decide to quit, you'll probably be more disappointed. But if you say to yourself, I'm going to commit first of all to 1 day a week, and then build on that. Make it easy for yourself. You're currently probably making it too hard. So if you start off small, incorporating it, it could be on a Saturday morning when you know you've got all the time in the world. It will compound, and then you'll say, okay, I'm going to add a Sunday in. Okay, I'm now going to add a Monday in because I want to start my week off with intention and in a positive mindset. So drip feed things in and make it as easy as possible for you. If it's not easy, you're not going to do it. Okay? It's the same with kids. We've got to educate them to brush their teeth. We know the benefits behind brushing our teeth. We don't want to walk around with smelly breath or, green teeth. We know the benefits, but for kids, it's like, oh, this is another thing I've got to do before bed. But we encourage them to do it right before bed. We encourage them, we make it easy for them. We'll literally walk them into the bathroom, make them brush their teeth, and before long, it becomes automatic. And until we get to that state of automatic, we've got to make sure it's easy. We've got to make sure it's visual so we can see it immediately. And we need to just drip feed it into ourselves, okay? Next question. Hopefully that helped. I realized from doing this that the biggest factor for me in achieving goals and vision is time and consistency. I'm one of those that does things a few times and hope that that will achieve, which we sound very similar, Helen. Yeah, so it's always consistency with anything. And the biggest thing from holding us back is not our boss from saying, oh, can you work the extra hour? Is not from our kids saying, oh, can you just take me to take me to the park for an extra hour, or your husband saying, can you do this? It's not them, it is us. It is literally us. We are the ones that hold us back from being confident. We are the ones that hold us back from achieving our goals. Once we realize we are the sole reason for our happiness, our sadness, our anxiety, we control all of our emotions. When you accept that and you accept it is only you can make that change, that is when the journey becomes a lot easier, because you are taking responsibility for yourself. After this call, I want you to look yourself in the mirror and take responsibility. You make the choices in your life, and you get to make them positively, or you get to make them which, don't align with your core values or don't align with your boundaries. Okay. So as I said, tomorrow we're going to break down how we can achieve that time. Okay. And for me, when I created this workshop, although I wanted you to have the confidence to live your life, for me, it does all boil down to time. When we have time on our terms, anything else is possible. Coffee. Yes, love this. Amazing. Definitely getting up and getting on with it instead of prioritizing or thinking about anything other than work on the day. I'm so glad it's helpful. The one tip that's helped me is, you might have seen on my Instagram stories, action beats anxiety. Now, if you can just spend 30 seconds doing something, that 30 seconds is probably going to compound into a minute, into 2, into 3, into 5. And before you know it, you've done 10 minutes of something. If you can just take action, you are beating the anxiety to do something. Okay. So that could literally be putting on your trainers and walking straight out of the house. You might only walk to the end of the street, but you've just done some action. That could literally be taking action and doing the food shop. You've been putting it off for the last few days and just pop into the co-op down the road just to pick up a little bit. When you take action, you are taking control of your life, and that is empowering. That is filling yourself with confidence to do the next steps, which would be do your meal plan, prep your food, plan your food, eat the food, reach your goals. So it's just taking that tiny little bit of action that will compound, and then these big things happen. Never underestimate small things, because all of those smaller things that you do will add up to big results. Okay. And the last thing, again, you'll always hear me say this: failure is not final, failure is feedback. We can only fail if we stop trying. If you're always doing, you're always winning. It doesn't matter how long it takes to get there, because in my personal opinion, it's not the destination that is the exciting part, it's the journey along the way. Now, you ladies know I've competed in bodybuilding, and the best part is the journey along the way, because it is a lot of self-discovery. It is a lot of learning about yourself, meeting new people, learning about what you're capable of, understanding, what you stand for, etc., etc. So learn to enjoy the journey, because the destination is a fleeting second. Like when I get up on stage, it is literally 10 minutes after all this hard work for many, many months. So if you learn to love the journey, you will always be happy in life. Let me just see if there's any more questions. Awesome. Do you always prep for the whole week? Again, I will prep for 2 or 3 days and then that's it. No, so prepping for me depends on the circumstance. So if we're thinking of food, I will input my calories in for a few days in advance. It won't always be the week, but if I am having social occasions on the weekend, I will plan for the week. That way then I know exactly what I'm eating. Am I actually physically preparing those meals for every single day? Again, hit or miss. Sometimes I will, sometimes I'll just prepare for the day ahead. Food, yeah. So that could literally be, I've made my lunch today and then I've made extra for tomorrow. I'm going to make my tea for tonight, I will make extra for tomorrow. Alternatively, I could spend a Sunday afternoon, 2 hours prepping food for every day of the week. And I'm probably thinking, I don't want to spend my Sunday night or Sunday afternoon prepping food for 2 hours. But if you think about how much time you spend in the kitchen throughout the week, then you're probably actually spending more time, because when you're doing it all in one go, it's over and done with quite fast. But when you're spending 30 minutes, 40 minutes every night in the kitchen, that's a lot of time. Or if you're spending your lunchtime prepping your foods, spending your morning prepping your breakfast, it's a lot of time. So it just depends. If I'm out on the weekend and I know I have a social occasion, I will plan for the week, but I won't always prep my food for every single day. It's normally 1 or 2 days in advance. However, as I've said again on my stories, sometimes I'll just buy ready meals. If I know I'm going to be short on time, I'll make sure they're under 500 calories, high in protein. And if I need to, I can just pull a ready meal out of the fridge and I'm good to go. I enjoy prepping, so I can't understand why I don't do it more. There we are. Maybe that can be something as part of your fulfillment. Put on some, for me, I love 80s music, always got 80s music on in the kitchen. Put on some 80s music, put your cooking pinny on, put your chef's hat on and make it fun. And when we make it fun, that's when we tend to stick to things more. So whatever you're finding difficult at the minute, think about, how can I make this task fun? How can I take it from boring to exciting? And when something is exciting, again, we're more likely to stick to it. Amazing. Okay, well, we've got 3 minutes left. I will just sit here and see if we've got any more questions. But if not, I hope you ladies enjoyed the first session. As I said, tomorrow we are going to be tying it all together and really putting those practices in place to give you back more time in your life so you can be more confident, live more vibrantly, and do more stuff for yourself that is aligned to you and your values. But as I said, homework will be sent out this evening, and then I will see you tomorrow at 7 again. Amazing. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining. If you have any questions, just drop me a message. Amazing. Thank you, ladies. Bye.